Hello, everyone, and welcome to Raising Remarkable Teenagers podcast, where we look all over the world and bring you some of the most amazing guests, right? And today, guys, right, listen in. Today, we've got Shelly Howard, and we're going to be talking about how you, listen to this, listen, this is so exciting for me, how you can send your kids to college, right, without losing your mind or losing your money. Guess who's interested in this? I am all ears, and I'm sure you're all ears, and I'm not gonna talk so much because I'm as you can hear, I'm excited. And Shali, welcome, and we are so happy to have you. So take it away.
Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to supporting you and your mission.
Oh, thank you so much. So I just want you to tell us what's your backstory? How did you come up with this? I mean, we want to know how did you come up with this? I know you've told me on behind the curtain, you've told me your story, a little bit of it, but I would like you to tell our lovely parents how you came to this point where you can show us, because I believe you're 100% qualified to show us how we can send our kids to college without losing our mind and losing our money.
Absolutely. So the story actually started because of my why. My why was my 8th grader.
Mhm.
And he came home from school and he says, "Mom, I know exactly what I want to do when I grow up." And I'm like, "Really?" Because there's a lot of adults who still don't know. And he smiled and he says, "Yeah, I want to be a brain surgeon. I want to go to a top tier school."
Woo.
And like most parents, I smiled and my eyes got big and I'm thinking, how in the world am I going to help him do this?
Yeah.
And so I made it my mom's mission to figure it out. At the time, I was a single mom. And so I knew even if he got in, I wouldn't be able to afford these top tier schools. So I had double trouble. And so that's where the book came from. Is it was me. I was losing my mind and I was terrified of losing my money. And so as the story goes, I'll give you the short version. He did exactly what I recommended, which obviously has to be an important piece. I can tell students all day long what it takes to get into a top tier school, but if they don't do it, it doesn't help. So my son actually did it. I went and started touring colleges. I toured about 25 colleges every semester. I went back to school and I got my master's degree. And I work the system as a business. This is my 7th business that I've started, and all of them have fallen in my lap. I've never really set out. And this one came because I was sitting at his high school graduation, and one of the young people sitting next to me said, "Dude, I didn't even know that kid was smart." And they were talking about my son.
Whoa.
So he was able to get through high school without anybody realizing how truly great of a student he was. He was very normal. He was a student athlete. He was in leadership. And when he graduated, he got into 7 top tier schools and ended up at Harvard 4 years for free. And so that's what started my mommy mission to help 1 million families do exactly what I did. And so this is our 13th college application season. And since then, my son went from Harvard to UC San Diego Medical School. Now he is a surgical resident at UCLA. He's going to be an orthopedic surgeon, or he is. And then I've since, his younger sister graduated debt-free and is a registered nurse for pediatrics. And then my 3rd son, he just left for college. He's a freshman at San Francisco State. And I have a high school senior. So when I say I'm truly one of you, I am truly one of you. And I care about this just as much as every parent listening.
Wow, this is so profound. This is absolutely amazing. I'm sure, like me, all you guys, your ears are going hot because I'm feeling debt free, and going to a top school. My goodness. And I'm thinking, if Shirley can do this, we sure can do this. So we want to hear, how exactly did you do it? Should we take it from how you encouraged your young person or your kid to actually work, because they have to work they have to work hard to achieve that, so that then you as a parent can work with them to achieve this debt-free status, right? So guide us, lead us, whichever way you want us. We are here. We want to listen.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So, I get families at every age, and you would be surprised. I have families who've contacted me when their children are in preschool, and they're like, what can we do now to set them up for their future? And I tell parents very simply, teach them to love to read. If your student has this desire to go on this journey of education and actually enjoys it, it's so much more fun for the whole family. I will tell you, not all my children are the same. Some love to read and some not so much. And I've watched them each struggle at different points. But if you can simply at bath time, open up a book or a magazine and put your cell phone inside so they see that you too love to read and not spend all your time on electronics, that gives them that desire to be exactly like the person they love the most. And so that's what we teach at a very early age. Then from there, about fifth grade, and it depends on their maturity, but about fifth grade, they start to ask questions. What is college? Why do I want to go to college? Did you go to college? Like, they're having all of these, like, I don't really understand what this is, but people are starting to talk about it. And so I tell families, obviously, it's going to be unique to your situation. For me, I was the first to go to college on both sides of my family. So I had a very different experience to tell my children than my parents did for me. My parents said, I don't know, I think it's a good idea. And that was the guidance I got, where I was on a mission to help my children make sure that they were picking the right college, right major, and to figure out who they are and why does it matter. Because even if a student gets into the best school and they're not at the right school, it's still not going to be a good fit. So that's when we get into the real preparation. And that starts, we bring students on as early as when they promote from 8th grade. So I know things are a little bit different internationally. I happen to have an exchange student living with us right now from Italy. And so I'm learning firsthand what that school system looks like. As she goes to high school here, she comes home and tells us how incredibly different her experience is. And so it's been beautiful for me to see, yes, they're being educated, but they are being educated differently, not better, not worse. But it's up to us parents to fill in the gap, because in both educations, there is definitely a gap. And that gap is nobody's talking to them about, when you go to college, how will you do it without going into debt? That's the conversation. If a parent is not having that conversation because it's uncomfortable, they don't want to talk about money with their child, then who is having that conversation? So we at College Ready, we talk about return on investment. We don't believe that every education and every major and every college and every student is the same. And so for a student who wants to go on and go to a secondary degree, law, medicine, any type of MBA, PhD, these students have to think about not just their first college, but their second college. Because if they go into debt for their first college, will they even want to go to second college? And so these are conversations that nobody is having. And so when I sit down with students, we talk one-to-one, just like this. And we don't fill in a bunch of tests. We have conversations that sometimes they simply don't even know. I love to start with, and you may enjoy this with your own children. I ask them, if I gave you $1 million cash and you had 24 hours to spend it, or you had to give it all back, what would you do with it? And you would be surprised. I've had students ask Siri, what would I do with $1 million? They don't know. I've had a few students surprise me and say, well, first I'd buy a fixer-upper apartment, and then I would sell it, and then I would buy two, and then I'd buy a home, and then I'd buy a. So they have this whole vision of their financial strategy. And then I ask what their parents do, and it's obvious that their parents do that type of work. But you get everything in between, because in high school, at least in the United States, nobody talks about money or a budget or how they will afford to move out someday. And so they don't understand $300,000 in debt to go to college is truly something they don't comprehend. When I talk about it, they act as if it's just play money. Like there's no concept until I tell them, how long do you want to work for free? And then all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, I don't want to work for free. And I say, that's called debt. And they said, oh, my parents are going to pay for that. And I say, how long do you want your parents to work for free? And they go, I don't want them to work for free either. So there's just no comprehension, but yet parents are allowing their 17-year-old to make this financial decision all by themselves sometimes. Wow. Without any guidance. And that's where the problem begins.
Wow. So Shelly, I've heard you talk about we as parents being models, right? Modeling the love of learning, the love of reading. So obviously that would have to begin from when they're very young. But most of our parents here are parents of teenagers. So in terms of modeling, for example, if they've never been ones to love reading, or if them themselves have not been to higher education or postgraduate education, how would you recommend this modeling? Because just because we never went for postgraduate studies doesn't mean we cannot dream for our kids. Because I'm fortunate that I have been able to undertake postgraduate studies as a psychologist, but I also know other parents who for whatever reason, for whatever variety of reasons, have not had those opportunities. Yet they have these teenagers, and we all have dreams. Some of us have lofty dreams for our young people. How can we put ourselves in a position of a model so that we can encourage and empower our young people to still dream, and then we can support them to go to those for example, in the US, you call them Ivy schools, and in the UK, we call them Russell Group, the Russell Group universities, Oxford and Cambridge, and all those top of the range. It's equivalent to Harvard and Stanford and that. So how can we, for example, if I don't want to give myself as an example, because I would probably not be believable, because I have my own postgraduate studies. I'm talking about other parents, beautiful, lovely parents who want their best for their kids, but they haven't had that opportunity to have attended higher education, how can we model, how can we empower our young people and still support them to enter those schools?
Yeah, so it starts when you start having conversations with your child. And you know, if you have children, they're already at a different time. None of them mature at the same level. So I can't talk an age in particular. But as soon as there's the question, what is college? Why do I need to go to college or university, whatever you want to call it? That's the most beautiful time. So that's when I started taking my children on college tours. So, as part of our family vacation, we happened to go from California to Boston. Well, while we're in Boston learning about our heritage and our history, why not stop into Harvard and walk around this beautiful campus and talk to your student about what happens at a beautiful campus like this and how people are given opportunity from being at a beautiful campus like this. And it's not about going to school every day and doing studies you don't care for. You get to pick what days you go to university. You get to pick what classes you go to university. And you start to open up their understanding that this is not more high school. This is something special. This is something my parents get excited about. This is something that I call it's like a carrot and a bunny, right? That you wave the carrot and the bunny will come. It's the same thing. If you get excited about this opportunity, your child will think, this must be something my parents think is a really good idea.
Wow.
And that's the modeling that you can do. And then when you're there, don't just talk about how hard it is to get in, but talk about if you went, talk about your experience, talk about some of your best friends you met, about what it was like studying late into the evening and how fun that truly was. If you didn't go, then I would talk about how your friends might have gone and how you have dreamt that someday you could send your child there. And then they're living the dream with you. And it's not, sometimes students, when I talk to them, feel that it's a lot of pressure or a punishment. They must go because they'll let down their parents if they don't go. And that never seems to work to motivate a teenager. You know, as a psychologist, you have to help them see the benefit to them, and then they're all in. So as soon as it becomes their idea that college is brilliant, oh, they're willing to do just about anything to get there.
I love what you said. And actually, this reminds me a couple of years ago, my niece, a young girl, same age as my daughter, she came to visit us from Kenya, and she's always wanted she's always wanted to be a doctor. And one of the things that we did, and it was free actually, was actually visit a university in East Anglia in the UK. And do you know, we went there and we spoke to I just asked if we could tour, and you will be surprised at how the lecturers, the university, are willing to take you around and show you what happens there. And you know, this really ignited her, and it made her feel, actually, I can be this, you know, I can actually be this. This is something that's actually achievable. My daughter, she oscillates between so many things. She's not sure what she wants to do. At the time, she was thinking she wants to be an orthopedic doctor, and then she was thinking, oh, she wants to be a pediatric doctor. She's all over the place, and it's fine. It's fine because no kid has to be made to decide for life. I mean, most of us, I didn't even know my calling was to become an adolescent psychologist until a couple of years ago. But what I knew was my love of working with teenagers. every job, ever since I can remember, every job I've ever taken, and in all sorts of positions, has been a mentoring job, a mentoring and empowering job. You know, in so many settings, including prisons, including young offending institutes, including schools, so many places. I didn't realize that. So what I'm not suggesting that, as usually as well said, you're not suggesting that we put pressure on our kids. You must decide today that you're going to be a heart surgeon. You know, that's not what we are demanding. But I believe it's about having those conversations that allow them to express what they feel they're more inclined, what their purpose may be. And then going out, for example, that tour we went to, it was free. It was a free day out, right? Going to such places. Do they want to be artists? There are places they can learn. There are museums. There are all sorts of places. Do they want to, whatever they want, even if they want to be a politician, you can ask to go and visit the parliament or some, all these places are available. Now, what I'm interested in actually now is we've talked about modeling and how to ignite that love of reading, right? So let's assume now the kid is interested, they are on this. And I'm sure when our parents contact you, you'll be able to guide them even deeper onto exactly what to do, because obviously at the moment, we've only got so much time. So we won't be going as deeper as we would love to, but when they contact you, you will be able to take them deeper into the details of exactly what to do. So if once the kid is interested, right? So how do you as a parent then go out and put your foot in and decide, right, my kid wants to go to Stanford. How do I start this process of making sure that I don't pay a penny?
So there's two buckets to it. There's the bucket of making the student the best version of them. Not making them into somebody they're not, truly helping them explore who they are, why it matters, and what are their core values. Just really focusing in on that student and the gifts and talents they've been given. The other bucket is the family's financial bucket. And that is making sure that their financial house is in order. So here in the United States, they have what's called a FAFSA. And that FAFSA looks at your family finances. It tells you what they look at and what they don't consider. Understanding that information is huge, because what happens is when a student graduates, they look 2 years back. Most students or most families don't understand that this is considered the second semester of the sophomore year and the first semester of the junior year. So if we're not thinking about this, it will go by and then the parents will be stuck with their current situation. So on the family side of it, we help the family understand how to get their finances in the right place to give their child the best opportunity. Okay. Let's go back to what the student and the family can do. So what we do at College Ready is we help focus that student on being the best they can be. And we do that academically, testing, community service, leadership, and extracurricular. So think about it this way. The first time you went to get a job and you had no resume, you got very little pay, correct?
That's right.
Yes. And then your second job or your second opportunity or your third, and you're starting to build your resume, CV is what they call it, right?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you're getting a much bigger paycheck.
Yeah, and traction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So think about it like this. College is the hiring, they're the job you're seeking. And you bring them the big resume. The big resume, they want you and they will willing to pay for you.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
So instead of trying to pick Stanford and a student and fit them into Stanford, it's much better to make the student the best they can be, and then have a strategy of many schools, not just one school.
Yeah.
You're going to have some dream schools, you're going to have some comfort schools, and you're going to have some safety schools. And if you strategize it properly, that gives you the most opportunity to get accepted, to receive money, and to have choices. So our children are picking, applying to college at the beginning of the year. They don't even decide to go a whole year later. So if you think about how much your teenager changes every year,
Yes.
you have to be careful that they know exactly what they want at the beginning of the year, because by the end of the year, they're a lot different.
Absolutely.
Some of them want to go across the world. And then when it comes down to doing it, they're like, wait a minute, that sounds terrifying, or vice versa. So helping students do something they've never done. And sometimes parents have never done this. I know when I applied to 2 schools a long time ago.
Yeah.
And that was all I did. Now these students, it's so competitive that the average students apply to 12 universities, some in United States, some internationally. And so they have a nice opportunity to choose on where they get accepted and where they wish to attend. And then they can use finances as one of the deciding factors. Because if they get in their dream school and it will set them up for life, debt or loans may not be difficult. But if they want to go into a career like women's studies or social services, where there's just not a lot of money, but you do it from the heart,
Yeah.
it may not make sense to go into a massive amount of debt that you can never repay. And so there's that you need to juggle.
Yeah, I've just heard you say something that that struck a little bit of my chord. You know, when you say obviously there is those not going into debt for, we are assuming here and we are thinking about jobs. For example, in women's studies or social services and all that, I actually believe that if that's your heart, you can go into it, but have a more open mind so that you're not necessarily looking for a job. You can go and be the, what I like to say to young people or and parents, go and make a trend there. A social service person doesn't need, they can work for the local council or something, but they can also serve from the heart and start their own movement. That's something that I believe. But I know where you're coming from in terms of debt. We are thinking in terms of it may not make sense for you to go, if you're going for maybe the pays, I don't know how much it is in the US, but for example, the social services here would probably be something like 26 or 30, something like that. But if you're going to go into 60,000 debt for that, that's a bit scary. You know, you're thinking return on investment. That doesn't sound really good, right? So I heard you speak about the dream universities. I also heard you speak about comfort universities and also safety universities. So you're not stuck on this is what I must do, or this is where I must go. So how can you encourage parents and even teenagers to be focused yet flexible?
Well, the way I explain it to students is this way. The dream school is a dream for every student. We're talking, Oxford, we're talking Harvard, Stanford. Like, there's not one student I've ever had, including my own, that I thought, oh, no problem, they'll get in. Oh, yeah, don't. I promise you, every student, that's a reach for them. And so I let them know, don't not dream, keep dreaming, but also have a backup plan. I sometimes I tell families, because most people buy a car at some point in their life, and we all have a dream car, right? That one we see ourselves in, that we love so much, the idea. And then you go to to buy it, and you look at the price tag and you're like, well, maybe that car is not the dream yet. Maybe that is my long-term dream. So maybe I need a car in between that. And sometimes I tell students, maybe that comfort school is your undergrad, and maybe the dream school is your grad. So it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It has to make sense. So I tell students this way: if the return on investment and you get in the dream school is there, absolutely do it. But if the fit is you get in to the dream school and you pick a major that will take 5-10 years to pay back your student debt, that may not be the best fit for you at this time. And if you want to get a secondary degree, which diploma do you put on the wall? I have my son's Harvard diploma behind me, and I have his medical school diploma behind me. How would I choose which one to go on the wall? I would pick the one that you're most proud of. That's what I would put on the wall. So really think about, what investment are you going to make? Like when you buy a home, you buy something of significance, you need to think about, do I want this size mortgage for the rest of my life? Do I willing to go up maybe a little smaller house or a little further away from, town? These are the things that people need to consider, instead of just saying, but this is the best school. It may not be the best fit academically, socially, and financially for the family.
Wow. But those are the ideas and the decisions you would normally help parents to evaluate, isn't it? I suppose in this in your course, college ready, those are some of the ideas you'd help parents to unpick, because there is a lot to unpick there. I can hear it. I mean, I'm getting really ignited, as you can see, but I'm also aware that we need to go deeper, because every child, every teenager, every young person is different. But the one main line that I heard you speak about, and I know it's resonated with me so deeply, was preparing the young person to be a fit for whatever these people are looking for, right?
Correct.
That's what I'm hearing. So it's readying our young people. It's like, it's for example, I liken this as a kid. Maybe the kid wants to be a professional footballer. You can't wait. You can't wait until the club comes to you. You have to be practicing every day. You've got to bust your backside. You've got to show up. You've got to practice those skills. And then you've got to enter even the most challenging situations, so that when that person is at this level, you're at this level, and they're thinking, I can see that. Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking in terms, I like, most parents know here, I like to think in terms of vibration. And here is what I mean. we want to tune ourselves. We want to tune up. For example, the Ivy League are on 100.10 FM, right? So we've got to tune ourselves to that so that when we're 110, we can hear each other. We can hear each other. You can't vibrate. You can't be tuned at 89.2 and expect that 100.10 is hearing you. People who are tuned on 100, they just won't hear us, So that's the one thing I really picked up. And it's about encouraging, empowering, and helping them to focus on what it is that they want to be. I mean, I know someone like Les Brown says that shoot for the moon. Even if you don't land in the moon, you will land among the stars, right? So that dreaming, that focus, it's something that we need to encourage our young people to hone in on. Now, Shaili, I want, you've given us so much information, and I know we can't cover everything today, but I want you to tell us, how can all these parents find you? Where can we find you for more information? Because this is just simply profound.
Well, thank you. The best place to start is actually our website, and that's collegereadyplan.com. I put the plan in there because, like you alluded to, there has to be a plan. So you can be college ready, but if you don't have a plan, you're still not really ready. So if you go to www.collegereadyplan.com, I'm also on every social media platform as College Ready or College Ready Plan. And if you are interested in the best-selling book, How to Send Your Student to College Without Losing Your Mind or Your Money, you can go on Amazon. I believe it's $14.95. It's not a huge investment, and it's a great place to start because I give you the things you need to be doing just to hit the 80% mark. If you want to go above that, obviously it's going to take another amount of work. But we help students one-to-one all over the globe. And it is my honor to be here. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So guys, grab a hold of Shaili, please, and go to collegereadyplan.com or grab the book. It's on Amazon, you said. Is it called College Ready Plan as well?
The book is How to Send Your Student to College Without Losing Your Mind or Your Money.
There you go. How to send your student to college without losing your mind or your money. You can find it on Amazon. And what I'll do, I am going to put a link on here if you're watching or if you're listening, but you've heard it. Go to Amazon, grab this book, How to Send Your Student to College Without Losing Your Mind or Your Money, or go to collegereadyplan.com, and let's keep learning. And I'm just so excited. Now, what we always do with our guests, our lovely guests, is before we let you go, we squeeze exactly 3 strategies or 3 snippets or 3 steps that parents can take today to make their young people, or to support, because you can't make anyone anything, to help their young people become college ready. Just 3 simple steps.
Step 1, ask your student, your child, 10 things they're passionate about. Step 2, ask them if they would like to go and tour a college with you. And step 3, be their advocate and make sure that they're taking the right classes, getting the right help, such as tutoring, and support them as they try to navigate this process.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Ask them 10 things that they like. I mean, so you're trying to establish what is it that comes easily to them. Sort of trying to establish what's your purpose, what really makes you motivated, what beats your heart, right? And then the next thing you've recommended is take action, go and tour colleges, right? And then the third thing I heard you, if I got you very correctly, is supporting them, yeah? Supporting them in exactly how did you put it? How I got it in my mind is support them to, you know, can you just bring, I know what I want to say, but I'm not sure. The third one.
What I said and what I believe is you need to be their advocate. If you find out that they're not able to take a class that they need, please step up and speak to the adults and say, help me understand why can you not get this for my child, instead of just letting things happen to them. So really being there for them to support them, not push them, but if I want to take AP, you know, or IB and they don't get it, it's okay to ask why didn't they get it, and how can they get it?
Right. So you're supporting them to actually be in positions where they are strategically positioned for whatever it is that they want, whatever college they want to go to, right? So
Correct.
I got it. I got it in my mind. I wasn't able to actually articulate it, but I am so thankful. I am so thankful. And I'm sure loads of parents here have really benefited from you just being here and hearing there is hope, you know, there is hope. And more importantly, there is something that we can do. And this is so reassuring, because here at Raising Remarkable Teenagers, we bring parents extremely useful information. And we also remind parents that without action, we cannot have transformation. So we've got brilliant information that you've given us. And that's why we squeeze some of these things from you, so that, because we want parents to take action, because it's in taking action on that information that we get the transformation that we need. So we are so thankful. So have you got any last minute words before we finish this, Shirley?
Enjoy every minute of being a parent. You know, as I see my high school seniors in our program leave for college, and I've spent 4 years with them, I would just say, as parents, just enjoy those last 4 years. I know they can be naughty, but they're just trying to figure out life, and just love them and enjoy every moment.
Wow. There you have it. There you have it. Thank you, everyone, for gracing us with your presence. And I do encourage you to go look out for that book on Amazon, and go to the website collegereadyplan.com. And from all of us here at Raising Remarkable Teenagers, we wish you all the best as you take action on the information that you have received, so that you can have the transformation that you so deserve, you and your family deserve. So until next time, it's bye from us. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.